Hello friends, welcome into the Cowboys Report presented by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. I am your host, Tom Downey, here once again with all the latest Cowboys rumors and news. We'll start things off with a little news item. I'm sure you guys saw it, but we'll make note of it as well. The Cowboys 2018 Pro Bowler, shout out Byron Jones, making his first one ever. DeMarcus Lawrence, Zeke, they make their seconds, back-to-back now for Tank. And then Zach Martin, Tyron Smith there, once again earning that Pro Bowl nod. Now, there were some snubs. That is the nature of the Pro Bowl in general. It always ends up happening. There are always players that are deserving that don't get in. Plus, as I'm sure you guys know, it's just a giant popularity contest. So Amari Cooper, he does not get in. Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, and Devontae Adams get in instead, which frankly, I kind of understand why. Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith, they also both get snubbed in favor of Bobby Wagner, Luke Kuechly. Not even Darius Leonard ended up making the Pro Bowl this year in the AFC. Those are all snubs. They're all deserving players, and I'm sure at least one of those three guys are going to get in as an alternate once players withdraw, unless, of course, the Cowboys are playing in the Super Bowl. So I'll ask you, who was the Cowboys' biggest Pro Bowl snub this year? Let me know in the comments section. The three I mentioned were the three biggest ones there. I'll lean towards Amari Cooper. I know there are a lot of good NFC receivers, but Amari Cooper, what he's done, regardless of what happened last week against the Indianapolis Colts, he has drastically changed this entire Cowboys offense. He's got my vote, and again, no disrespect at all to guys like Jalen Smith and guys like Leighton Van Der Esch. All right, folks, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI, and they're hooking you up, and I'm playing Santa Tom for them with the best deal this holiday season. How about a free Cowboys jersey? Here's how you can get one for yourself or a loved one this holiday season. Sign up and deposit, chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code Cowboys120, then DM us on Twitter @chatsports. Once you get signed up and deposited, we'll hook you guys up with a Cowboys jersey. Now, I'll be honest, supply is getting a little bit low right now, because so many of you have already jumped in on this. So get in while you still can. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys120. Then DM us on Twitter @chatsports. All right, let's talk about some Cowboys rumors. First up, is CJ Goodwin going to return? Well, 4 stars on this one. That is the already announced plan here for the Cowboys, and some notable implications for this one as well. So first off, Goodwin suffered that broken forearm back in Week 7 against the Washington Redskins. The Cowboys have now put him in that 3-week practice window to make his return. So he has been designated as the final Cowboys player to return from IR. What that means is Terrence Williams, he's not coming back. Dayton Jones, he's also not coming back. And Travis Frederick, he's not coming back this year either. So those 3 guys, their seasons are done. They're not going to make their return. T. Will, frankly, has probably played his last down as a Dallas Cowboys player. So now with the depth chart, if you're wondering why you're bringing in a 5th corner, I do like the idea of getting back a 5th cornerback. I'll make note, someone's got to be cut for Goodwin or placed on IR, or something has to be an extra roster move there in order to make space for Goodwin. The big reason he's making his return is because of special teams. That's where he thrives the most. That's where he'll make his impact. So the Cowboys, who've had iffy special teams so far this year, getting a boost at some point in theory with CJ Goodwin. All right, let's talk David Irving, because I think I misled you guys earlier this weekend. That's my bad. Is he not going to come back in the regular season? I'll give it 3 stars. Now, look, Jerry Jones had said he thought and thinks David Irving will return. Maybe he does come back in the playoffs, but now the reports are that he's not going to play in the last 2 regular season games, coming off that high ankle sprain, which is normally a 4 to 6 week injury. We are now entering Week 7, and David Irving still walking around with a limp, has not really been at practice for the most part. Overall, look, it's been a really disappointing season for David Irving. 2 games he's played in, 4 tackles, 1 sack, plus a hurry. When he's on the field, he's really, really good. The issue is, David Irving doesn't get on the field, and that has led many as well to question David Irving's, not just his immediate future, but his long-term future as well. I don't think you're going to see David Irving come back in the regular season. I hope I'm wrong on that. I want him back. He's such an immensely talented guy, but he's got to actually show up and do it. So I'll keep out hope for David Irving, but I'm not feeling all that optimistic at the moment. All right, so we'll take you now to our next Cowboys rumor here. We mentioned about David Irving. Let's talk here about if he loves football or not. And that's our next rumor. Does David Irving not love football? 3 stars on this one. That's again the report. And by the way, we've kind of mentioned this before on the show. We've hinted at this as well because I don't know if David Irving truly does love football. And that's the report from multiple beat writers all around the same time, all saying that the Cowboys don't think David Irving loves football. Now, I'll make note here. You don't have to love your job to be good at it. I'm sure many of you at home watching or at work watching, because if you're watching at work, I think that kind of proves you don't love your job maybe a little bit. You can still not love your job and be good at it. But with David Irving, it's always something, right? It's the injuries, it's the off-the-field stuff, it's this injury taking longer than usual to recover from. That's always been a problem for David Irving, and I think in reality, it's really worn on the Dallas Cowboys. So I'll ask you, are you just fed up and done with David Irving? I've said it before, I feel bad for the guy and all the stuff he's had to deal with off the field, but the best ability is availability, and David Irving does not have availability, and he hasn't for quite some time. I am done with him. If he comes back at the end for the playoff run, awesome. That's a big boost for the Cowboys defense. If he doesn't, you know what? It is what it is. I'm almost anticipating that because he hasn't given you much reason to actually have hope with this Cowboys team. So, and for the Cowboys, I will be very, very surprised if they actually bring back David Irving next year. He will be a free agent after the season ends. All right, folks, if you want more news, rumors, highlights, and some special fan-led content like our Cowboys or like our Cowboys fan rumors, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. That'll take you right to it. We appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. Tell a friend too, by the way. It's the best Cowboys channel out there on YouTube. All right, some more Cowboys rumors. We'll stick with the defensive line here. Taco Charlton, is he going to play this week? I'll put it at 2 stars. Now, Jerry Jones, and he burned me once earlier this week with his David Irving comments, but Jerry Jones says maybe it's time to think about getting Taco on the field, and even though Jerry isn't the overarching king he once was for the Cowboys, typically when Jerry Jones says something like that, it often means he gets his way. So 2 stars on this one, and there's also, and this is why it makes sense for Jerry Jones to say it, there's also some rationale behind it, right? The Cowboys didn't make any impact on the pass rush against the Colts. They were not getting pressure, getting held a little bit maybe, but they weren't making any impact there. I like Crawford, I like Malik Collins, Antoine Woods. My issue is, when you look at the depth chart here, why not play Taco over Dorrance Armstrong? I know that Dorrance is a rookie and he's shown some promise, but Dorrance and Taco have played pretty similarly so far. So even though there are some attitude concerns around Taco Charlton, I think it's time to get him back on the field. Put him back out there, and even if it's only 20 snaps, 15 snaps, whatever it is, get him on the field. So should Taco Charlton play versus the Bucs? Give me a 1 for a yes, give me a 0 for a no. He doesn't need to start. That's not what I'm saying. You don't want to cut into Gregory's snaps either, because Gregory has picked up his play quite a good amount here as of late. But I do think it's time to get Taco Charlton on the field, get him involved, and maybe he can provide a little bit of boost here on the Cowboys' pass rush overall. So again, folks, let me know. Type 1 for yes, type 0 for no. All right, next up. Should there be more rushes for Dak Prescott? Welcome into your daily hate on Scott Linehan segment. Yes, 4 stars. Linehan, what are you doing? It doesn't make sense. Dak Prescott did not run once against the Indianapolis Colts. It's a 4-star rumor here. Dak Prescott needs to run the football more. It's a no-brainer. You are taking away one of your player's best attributes because you don't think it's what the quarterback should do. That's what's going on here, right? We know that Dak Prescott has some deficiencies. We know he has strengths. One of those strengths is running the football. Did we forget about the Jacksonville Jaguars game plan? Aikman, by the way, is your source here, and it makes perfect sense. Let Dak Prescott use his legs. Let him use them in the red zone. Let him use them on random second downs. Run the football. It doesn't have to be 15 times a game with Dak Prescott. It doesn't have to be that many. But 5? I know you don't want to have him take a big hit and have him get injured. I get that. But the lack of quarterback runs, it's poor scheme design, it's poor play calling by Scott Linehan. It is very much on the shoulders of the Cowboys offensive coordinator, who continuously has failed to put his players in the best position, and not letting Dak Prescott use one of his best attributes. That's just poor coaching on Linehan's part. All right, folks, if you want something to add last second here to your holiday Christmas list, how about a Mizzen and Main shirt? Comfortable.af is the site. Go check them out. You are not going to find a more comfortable dress shirt, a more comfortable sweater even, than a Mizzen and a main one. Heck, these are so comfortable, I tend to sleep in them. One more time, go check them out, comfortable.af. All right, one last rumor then. This one is interesting. It's time to cut La'el Collins, and then could that be an option? I'll give it 1 star on this one. Comes from our friends over at the Cowboys Wire, Katie Drummond. And it does make a little bit of sense. That's why just 1 star, even though I don't think it happens. I don't think Katie quite think it happens either. Now, Collins overall has struggled this year, but I think in terms of the offensive linemen who have benefited the most from Mark Colombo coming in, or I guess being promoted, I think it's La'el Collins. Now, the issue is nearly an $8 million cap hit, $6.5 million in savings. That's quite a bit of money. Now, I don't think you're going to find a good right tackle for $6.5 million, at least one that's better than La'el Collins in theory. So I consider it a bit of a long shot, but it's not totally out of the question. And here's maybe a scenario that I think many of you have floated before. What if you go kick Connor Williams out to right tackle and promote Su'a-Filo? Now, I still think that Collins is one of your 5 best offensive linemen. I think you're lucky that you have Su'a-Filo under contract next year as well. Only Marcus Martin and Cam Fleming are your top free agents. In the end, though, when it comes to offensive line, time to draft someone. Maybe it's day 3, maybe it's early day 3, maybe it's late day 2. I think it's time to get some more offensive line help. So I'll ask you guys, what should the Cowboys do with La'el Collins? Type K for keep, type D for dump. Let me know in the comments section. Look, I lean more towards keeping Collins. I know there are concerns around him. He has not been as good as he needs to be. Frankly, he's probably a little bit overpaid. But in the end, I am all for keeping La'el Collins on this roster and making sure that he is one of your top players. Even though he's a bit overpaid, he remains, I think, one of your top 5 offensive linemen. I don't think you need to create a need by cutting La'el Collins.